Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11. Alpena City officials conduct a special council meeting this evening at the Alpena City Hall. Plus, Alpena Regional Medical Center is taking its next step in actions with the Michigan Nurses Association. And Besser Elementary School celebrates Veterans Day with an annual assembly. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between. This is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Liwanag. With the recent water and sewer rate changes, Alpena City officials conducted a special council meeting this evening at the Alpena City Hall to inform on why these changes were made. The Alpena Council meeting was initiated to help clear up and notify residents about the water and sewer rate hikes. The presentation included a brief history of city and township water and sewer agreements, as well as why new rates were implemented. After the presentation, people who attended were open to ask questions, and this public meeting was held because people needed to be updated on the changes.
Apparently there was some increased rates in the township, which triggered a lot of questions from township residents, and a lot of them were one way or another filtered my way and to our city manager. And we were taking up to 5-6 calls a week, and we just kind of got together and said, you know, it would be great if we just did a public meeting.
For further questions regarding the rate changes, please call the city officials at 989-354-1711. The Alpena County Youth and Recreation met at the Howard Mail Conference Room to discuss the recent approval recommendations for funding in 2016. The committee's sole purpose is to provide recreational activities for youth and recreation for Alpena County residents and improvement of recreational sites. Tonight, the committee has selected the 2016 grants to be recommended to the Alpena County Commissioners. The Commissioners will then approve these recommendations in order to be included in the county's budget. After careful review, the committee is recommending several funded grants worth over $760,000.
So this year there were something like 46 different groups, and they range from all over the board. You can imagine from the counties and the parks, Long Lake Park, Beaver Lake Park, to the schools and a lot of the athletic teams, to robotics, to art in the loft, and all kinds of Ready Set programs.
The next scheduled meeting is 6 p.m. December 3rd at the Howard Mail Conference Room at the Annex. Alpena Regional Medical Center released a statement this afternoon in reply to a vote from the Michigan Nurses Association last week, which gave them the option to strike against alleged unfair labor practices. With its court filings today, ARMC has asked that the court order the MNA to comply with its legal obligations to not strike the hospital. This court order comes from a request from the hospital to the MNA to retract its threat of a strike. This also comes after Wednesday's meeting with the union, where the fact finder found that the collective bargaining agreement between the employer and employees is acceptable, and that the RN bargaining unit is, quote, at or near the top of the wage and benefit scale discussed during negotiations. At this time, the hospital is hopeful that the court will agree with its request, and the Michigan Nurses Association has yet to release a statement in response. WBKB 11 meteorologist Adam Claiborne is here with the first look at the weather. Adam, we've been getting a lot of sunshine lately. Is that going to continue?
Yeah, I know. You probably love this weather lately, Neil. It's been gorgeous. We have seen those temperatures in the 70s, not only yesterday, but guess what? Even today, we made it all the way into the 70s. Now, we weren't quite as warm as where we were yesterday, but we did see some very nice conditions, especially seeing more of that sunshine like Neil was just alluding to. But here's a look at today. We didn't break a record, but we made it up to 73 with our low at 44 degrees this morning. Both of those numbers well above average for this time of the year, but it all moves out of here as we go into tomorrow. But for right now, we're at 65 degrees, mostly cloudy skies with winds out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour. 45 back into Minneapolis, 40 in Bismarck, and at 45 down in Omaha. Now, once you go to the east, of that, you'll notice that temperatures are a bit warmer into Chicago, down into St. Louis, and here in Alpena. There's a cold front, and you can see it on that by that line that goes from dark blue to more of a lighter green, and that will continue to work its way eastward as we head throughout the night, and should start to arrive as we go into the early morning hours of tomorrow. But here's a look at your radar. Showers still off to our south. We'll expect them to come northward as we head into the remainder of the night. Starting off as maybe a few sprinkles, but for the time being, we're going to remain overcast, not seeing any rain. But the wet end to our work week, it is on the way as we go into Friday morning into the early afternoon hours. But after that, we are expecting the colder air to come in, but how much colder do we see temps? We'll have that answer in a complete look at your 7-day forecast on also your Pets of the Week here in a few minutes. Neil?
All right, thanks, Adam. The Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary was the host for the 2-day State of Lake Huron meeting that took place yesterday and today. The purpose of the statewide meeting was to bring together scientists, resource managers, and interested members of the public to discuss the current science of Lake Huron. Some sessions of the meeting included chemical and nutrient monitoring, as well as the study of food web effects.
The lake is definitely in a state of change. So invasive species have drastically altered the way the lake behaves, and it takes a whole bunch of different researchers to really figure out the nature of that change and to better understand how to manage Lake Huron with the presence of invasive species.
Some scientists took the information and applied it directly to their line of work, like Ashley Baldridge, who studies what lives in the bottom of our Great Lakes.
I took away that zebra and quagga mussels are seen as a major driver as a lot of the changes we've been seeing, and that it is a priority to keep monitoring them and do research on the zebra and quagga mussels moving forward.
A large goal of this meeting was for scientists from both Canada and the United States to gather and look at the lake's current state, emerging problems, and solutions to better advise decision makers. The end goal is to come up with shared binational research priorities to use in 2017 for a year of coordinated monitoring between the two countries. After a year of transitioning, Allegra Printing celebrated their crossover and partnership today with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. After being a model printing service for over 40 years, the company decided they needed to step up their game in order to compete with other businesses. So they partnered with Allegra. With 600 stores worldwide, Allegra is part of the Alliance franchise brands, and they have a 65,000 square foot headquarters down in Plymouth, Michigan, with 80 employees, all at this location's disposal. Allegra is available to the community for the purpose of printing anything from business cards to banners and much more.
The way things are going, and there's so many things that are happening, so many things are changing in the print industry. It's not the print industry anymore, it's a communications industry.
The Alpena Area Chamber of Commerce and 3 of Allegra's top executives were in attendance today to officiate the ribbon cutting and the grand opening of Allegra Alpena. Besser Elementary had a packed house this morning as the staff and students celebrated their 4th annual Veterans Day Assembly. Every year, the school gets together to thank the veterans in the community. The students and teachers at Besser School have been preparing for this special event as a way to honor those that have served in the military. The assembly included several special recognition and honoring those in the military, a few musical performances done by the students, and the veterans were also treated to gifts. This event is held every year not to just thank those that have served, but to also give the young students a sense of what it is that veterans do and appreciate all that they've sacrificed.
I hope the students get an appreciation and understanding for veterans and all that they do, and a sense of giving back and doing something for others.
Special keynote speaker William Romstead, who is a former employee of the Alpena Public Schools and a veteran, also attended the assembly today. The holiday season is gaining ground, and a local business is recognizing and honoring the military during that time. The Alpena Flour Mill location of Prattscape Landscape Design is already filled with holiday cheer, and this year some extra special decorations as well. The holiday shop inside the mill is featuring brand new ornaments dedicated to all different parts of the military, after there were a number of requests for military decorations last year. One tree on display in the shop is decked from top to bottom in ornaments, as well as military hats and flags. Customers have already been purchasing the ornaments, whether they have a loved one who has fought or is fighting, or they just want to honor those who do protect our safety.
It's a time of family, so it's a way of, if they're not home, to have something to represent them as part of the tree, and they're decorating it so in a way it's kind of like their family members there with them, even if they've lost them or if they're not there to be with them.
Between the location at the Flour Mill and the second location at the Alpena Mall, Prattscapes has about 50 trees on display this holiday season. You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online. Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night. We will check back in with meteorologist Adam Claiborne a little later for your full weather forecast. But a special gift may be coming to drivers this holiday season. All that and more next. Thanks for joining us here tonight, everyone, for our state news this evening. The triple homicide case that has been in headlines since April is coming to a close. In a stunning admission, 47-year-old Gary Cordell pleaded guilty to 3 murder counts. In a special report, Jerry Taylor from our sister station ABC 10 in the UP has the exclusive story.
Gary Cordell walked silently into the courtroom, but he wouldn't stay silent for long. Cordell pleaded guilty to 3 murder charges, 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony murder in the deaths of Carrie Nelson, Heather Aldrich, and Jody Hutchinson back in April. Cordell originally faced 12 felony counts. Judge William Carmody then asked Cordell a series of questions.
You understand that if I accept your plea, by pleading guilty to crimes that are punished by life without parole? Yes, sir. I said by pleading guilty, you understand that there will not be a trial and all your rights at trial you'll be waiving and giving up. Yes, sir.
Then Cordell's attorney, Brian Rahilly, who advised Cordell not to plead guilty, interviewed his client about his actions the night of April 17th.
Did you strangle Carrie Nelson to the point that she was no longer living?
Yes, sir.
As to Mr. Jody Hutchinson, on that date, did you strangle Mr. Hutchinson?
Most definitely.
To the point where you're no longer living?
Yes, sir.
And you did it with the intent to kill?
Yes, sir.
Schoolcraft County Prosecutor Tim Noble asked Cordell to clarify a few details when it came to his relationship with Kenneth Brunke. Cordell replied bluntly to Noble's inquiries.
Does Mr. Brunke owe you money?
Absolutely not. Not anymore.
What did Mr. Brunke owe you money for?
I don't believe that's any of your business. One man shall die for another to live.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Gary Cordell will be back in court for sentencing December 10th. In Manistee for WBKB News, I'm Jerry Taylor.
In addition to Cordell, 2 other defendants were also arrested in connection to this case. 46-year-old Kenneth Brunke accepted a plea deal last month. He will be sentenced on the same day as Cordell, December 10th. The other defendant, 28 Marietta Carlson, died in police custody of a heart condition back in June. In your Money Watch, a gift holiday this season, low gas prices. AAA predicts drivers could be enjoying the lowest gas prices since 2008. Right now, drivers in 41 states can find at least one station selling gas for less than $2 a gallon. There's a help wanted sign at NASA. The space agency is hiring. There are currently 47 active NASA astronauts. The agency is looking for the next generation of space pioneers, possibly to put boots on Mars. They're accepting applications from December through February. And Netflix has some help for parents who have trouble getting their kids to turn off the TV and go to bed. Netflix launched 5-minute bedtime videos based on the animated series Dino Trucks, shorter than the usual 20 or 30-minute programs. Perfect for the kids who beg for one more show. There's still much more to come on WBKB News. John Schuyler will be in with sports. But first, Adam Claiborne is next with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Adam Claiborne has been keeping an eye on the weather for us. Adam?
All right, Neil. Well, heading into the evening, we're going to continue to see cloudy skies. Now, rain chances, they will arrive as we go into tomorrow morning. And we're going to be looking out for some possible heavy pockets of rain at times, but most of it should be in the morning as we go into the afternoon and the evening hours, tapering off to maybe a few light showers for us. But also the winds will begin to pick up for us, and we'll see that cooler air arrive throughout the afternoon. So during the morning, that's probably is going to be where we see our high temperatures, because heading into the afternoon and on into the evening, that colder air will settle in and we'll be closer to normal as we go into the weekend for our afternoon highs. But here's a look at your current temperatures at 63 in Atlanta, 63 down in 2 Mile, 64 in Rogers City, and seeing more of those 60s down into Oscoda and Tawas. Current winds are coming in from the southwest at 10 in Harrisville, 8 in Mile, 11 currently in Atlanta, and at 7 in Rogers City. But not really seeing much on the radar. You can start to see a few of those lighter showers back closer to Gaylord, but not really that much showing up currently across this northeast Michigan region. We are going to see just a few more of those sprinkles as we go into the next few hours, but better rain chances arrive as we get into early tomorrow morning. And here's a look at that on your Futurecast model, seeing everything beginning to come together. This is right around 4 a.m., just seeing those showers push in. Now they will move through and we will see some heavy pockets at times, but as we get close to the 9, 10 a.m., a lot of it gets out of here. We'll deal with some light showers afterwards, but not really going to see a lot as we go into our Friday night. Cooler air will arrive as we'll drop down closer to those 30s, and on into our Saturday, another slight chance of rain as this next wave of moisture moves its way through, and then we'll begin to clear out. By Saturday night and on into Sunday, we should see a decent amount of sunshine, but tonight we'll drop down to only 59 degrees as we'll have overcast skies, winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Early rain for us as we go into tomorrow, and temperatures will be dropping throughout the day. 57 for your high in Hillman, 57 in Hubbard Lake, looking out for more of those upper 50s in Fairview, Lincoln, and in Harrisville, 58 in Oscoda, and at 60 in Tawas. Here's a look at your forecast as we go throughout tomorrow. We'll start off at 59, drop to 53 by the noon hour, and all the way into the mid to lower 30s by tomorrow night. So close to that freezing mark at 34 here in Alpena, and your 7-day forecast, we'll be looking out for a high of 59 on Friday. Saturday will be at 47, also looking out for more of those 40s as we head into Sunday before we head into next work week and start to bounce back more into those 50s. Now let's move to our Pets of the Week segment, and our first pet is going to be our cat, which is Ozzy. And Ozzy is a domestic long-hair 2-year-old male who is housebroken already and is already neutered. He gets along with other cats, but also is a little more chill and subdued. You can see in the first frame or first video, didn't have his toy that time. We gave him a toy, tried to get him to do something. He wasn't having any of it. Our next pet is a lot more active and a lot more energetic. This is Caesar, and Caesar is a 3-year-old terrier mix who is good with other dogs and children. He has been at the shelter for about a month now, and he needs a good home. So if you would love to be that loving family to bring him home, you're going to have to deal with a lot of energy, but all you need to do is call that number on the screen at 989-356-4794.
Boy, that Ozzy has a lot of energy.
He does.
All right, well, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Linda Krentz.
And Linda sent us this photo of some turkeys she saw on the road in Black River, where they've been hanging around at her friend's house, and they look to be having, I guess, a good time for the time being.
Do you think that they're getting ready for Thanksgiving there, Adam?
Well, it is that time of the year, I guess. It is the season.
All right. Well, thank you, Linda, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. Coming up on WBKB News, in tonight's Health Watch, results on whether a popular supplement works for treating depression. Stay tuned for more. In national news, Chicago police are asking the public to come forward so they can bring to justice the person who executed a 9-year-old boy on the way to his grandmother's house. CBS News' Adriana Diaz has the latest.
Chicago police say the bullets that struck and killed 9-year-old Tyshawn Lee in this alley Monday were meant to send a message.
We believe that Tyshawn was targeted, lured to this spot, and murdered.
Police say Tyshawn's father, Pierre Stokes, is a known gang member. This killing is the latest in a string of gang-related violence.
This is a different level of something that we're involved in. These are non-combatants now being assassinated.
Stokes, who is not cooperating with police, agrees his son was intentionally killed.
If he wasn't a target, he wouldn't have got hit so many times in the back of the face.
Police say people in the community are afraid to come forward because doing so could put their family members at risk too.
Your fear is either going to paralyze you or your fear is going to motivate you.
Father Michael Flager of nearby St. Sabina offered assistance.
I will personally help them relocate to another city out of my pocket, if that will help them.
Police and the Chicago Archdiocese are offering a reward for information leading to an arrest.
The Chicago Archdiocese had set up a GoFundMe account to collect reward money. In your Health Watch this evening, omega-3 fatty acid is a popular health supplement, but a new study says there is insufficient evidence to back up its use in treating major depression. A group of international researchers compared results for more than 1,400 depressed patients and did not find a meaningful positive effect from omega-3. Doctors say breastfeeding is the healthiest choice for babies, but it might not be any better than formula when it comes to preventing allergies. Excuse me. A study about 200 patients found breastfed children had about the same risk of developing hay fever, asthma, and food allergies as those who grew up on formula. And a new study at Cornell University looks at what slim people eat for breakfast. Among about 150 healthy weight participants, the most common breakfast foods were fruit, dairy, cold cereal, and bread. Only 4% said they skipped breakfast altogether. Sports is coming up next, and John Schuyler is here with a preview. John?
Hey there, Neil. In sports tonight, the Lions cleared house, firing 2 suits in the front office. We'll look at that, and like we've had all week, there is girls volleyball going on. Tawas and Oscoda went at it for the District 90 title. Get back for that and more next in sports. Tonight was the first of 3 district final volleyball games taking place around the area this week, and in that match were 2 schools down south of Alpena that know a whole lot about each other, the Oscoda Owls and the Tawas Braves. The game might have been in Alcona, but it didn't prevent the fans of Oscoda and Tawas to make the trip and cheer on their squads. After Tawas took game 1, they're trying to run away with game 2. Riley Montgomery sends home the kill. Braves lead 19-12, but here come the Owls facing match point. Down 4, Samantha Lamrock rocks that one for 1 point. Owls cut the lead to 4. Next point, Lamrock so nice she does it twice. That kill makes it 24-21. Tawas will call a timeout, and the timeout was just what they needed to regroup. Sophia Gabel will get match point as Tawas goes up 2 sets in the third game. Jordan Look serving for Tawas, and would you look at that, the ace ties the game up at 9. Next volley, Oscoda will save that, but Abigail Anderson will take advantage of an open spot. Braves go ahead 10-9. Few points later, Braves ahead 14-13, and it's Anderson again, the senior, taking advantage of what's in front of her to put Tawas up 2. The Braves push their lead to 5 with Erica Russo serving match point, and she gets the ace. Tawas defeats Oscoda in 3 sets to win the District 90 final. It's their first district win in over 10 years. They move into regionals where they'll play Traverse City St. Francis in Manton on Tuesday. Well, earlier in the week, we said don't be surprised if someone is fired during the Lions bye week, and today, Lions owner Martha Ford cleaned house in the front office. Team president Tom Lewan and general manager Martin Mayhew were dismissed earlier today. Lewan was named team president after the Lions' 0-16 season and named Mayhew general manager as one of his first moves to replace Matt Millen. Now, the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league, and let's put aside their 1-7 record and focus on the personnel moves they made. For starters, the team let defensive tackles Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley walk away in free agency while getting nothing in return for the pair. And when it comes to drafting, the Lions haven't drafted a Pro Bowl player in their last 5 years, and no player drafted in 2010 or 2011 is still on their roster to date. After making the announcement, Martha Ford read a statement to the media about her decision.
We are very disappointed with the results of the season so far and believe a change in leadership was necessary. Our fans deserve a winning football team, and we will do everything possible to make it a reality. I also want to make clear that we have no intention of giving up on the season. We expect our team to compete, improve, and win.
Ford also noted that head coach Jim Caldwell and the coaching staff will remain the same. The Lions have the weekend off and then play the Green Bay Packers next week. This week, college football playoff poll came out for their sport, and the Spartans did make the top 10, but they are on the outside looking in when it comes to those top 4 coveted spots. As of right now, MSU is ranked number 7 in the college football playoff ranking, which is 1 spot lower from where they stand in the Associated Press and Coaches poll. State had the week off, but will have a chance to make a move up the poll as the season comes to an end. Up next, State has Nebraska on the road. They then host Maryland, travel to Ohio State, and finish the year against Penn State. And as the Spartans head into their final stretch, head coach Mark D'Antonio and his team took advantage of their bye week to prepare and heal up.
You know, Nebraska is not an easy place to go play, period. End of story. I think our players understand that, and we need to be ready mentally as well as physically, and we need to go there with an edge and take our best game there. We got healthy. A lot of bumps and bruises sort of healed up, or fatigue on some players. Certainly the guys who were hurt, you know, responded as well, so it's positive. So I think where we needed to be. I think that's what we needed to do.
The Spartans play Nebraska Saturday at 7 p.m. on ESPN. And as for the Michigan Wolverines, they are ranked 17th overall in the playoff rankings and play Rutgers this weekend. One other college football note that we have for you. Western Michigan defeated Ball State at home down in Kalamazoo. There was a rout going on in Kalamazoo. Someone might want to get to the authorities for that one. 54-7, Western Michigan rolls.
Wow. 54-7?
54-7. It was a big blowout down there in the zoo.
Wow. Good job from Western Michigan.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks, John. Coming up next on WBKB News, meteorologist Adam Claiborne will be back with one last look at the weather. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Adam Claiborne is here with a final look at the weather.
All right, everyone. Tonight, expect those clouds to stick around for us, but eventually showers will come in, and that will start to bring us not only just the showers, but that system will bring us the cooler air as we head into Friday afternoon. So all the nice, balmy temperatures that we have been seeing, sunshine, that is all going to come to an end for a while. We'll get the sunshine back, but it's probably not going to be quite as warm for us. But let's take a look at that forecast for you, as we'll start off at 59, but continuing to cool as we head into the afternoon. 53 by that lunch hour, dropping to 34 as we head into tomorrow night. We keep the clouds around, but we'll be right around that freezing mark and heading into our weekend highs, only topping off in the 40s, which will be closer to our normals for this time of the year. Seeing lows right around those lower 30s, also right around those normals for us. But as we head into next week, we do begin to rebound, seeing more of those mid to upper 50s as we go into next Monday through Thursday. Lows still in the 30s until we'll bounce back into the 40s by next Thursday. But it doesn't look like we'll stay that cool for that long. We get a couple of days of 40s as we go, or a couple of days of 40 as we go into our Saturday and Sunday. But seeing those numbers rise once again into next week, probably not quite as warm though as the 70s we have seen over the past 2 days.
I don't know about you guys. I was really getting used to this sunshine and the hot weather that we've had the last couple of days.
We're only going to be in the 50s for the most part next week, so that's still something, I mean, positive. I mean, sure, it's a little bit higher than our
still above our normal temperature for this time of the year, so definitely something we will take. And also, I'm sure some people are going to be loving to see the cooler air back, and it can get a little stuffy at times.
Yeah. Cool air? Yeah. I don't know about that, guys.
Well, I mean, some places they don't have air conditioning. It gets heat, gets stuffy in a place. You need to have cooler air come in. You can open your window, have it cool down. It's nice and refreshing sometimes there. And remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that'll do it for tonight's show. Be sure to catch Erica Fernandez tomorrow morning at 6:30. Good night, everybody.